A historic moment has just rewritten the script of African excellence on the global stage, shattering records and silencing critics who doubted our ability to dominate in the world's most elite arenas. This isn't just a win for one athlete, it is a monumental statement of African power and technical mastery that resonates from the Cape to Cairo. We are witnessing the rise of an era where African athletes are no longer just competing, they are defining the standard. Today, we dive deep into South Africa's Chad le Clos and his historic 19th medal at the Commonwealth Games. But beyond the medals, we are going to analyze what this means for our continental identity, how it dismantles Western narratives of African capability, and why this specific victory is a blueprint for the next generation of African champions. To understand the magnitude of what Chad le Clos has achieved, we have to look back at the historical context of South African sport. For decades, South Africa was isolated, its athletes barred from global stages due to the injustices of apartheid. When they were finally allowed back into the international arena, it wasn't just about sports, it was about reclaiming a stolen identity. The swimming pool became a theater of resistance. For years, the West dominated aquatic sports because they had the infrastructure and the historical head start. But look at the trajectory. Every time an African athlete enters that water, they carry the weight of a continent's aspirations. Le Clos isn't just swimming against other individuals, he is swimming against the history of being overlooked. By securing his 19th medal, he has cemented himself as a legend, but more importantly, he has proven that with consistent investment and local talent, African athletes can achieve unparalleled longevity in global sports. Now, let's break down the current situation. The technical mastery displayed by Le Clos is what many experts are calling surgical excellence. In a sport where milliseconds determine destiny, his ability to maintain peak performance over multiple cycles of international competition is extraordinary. This isn't luck. This is the result of a sophisticated training ecosystem that South Africa has developed. When we see him break these records, we are seeing the fruit of high-performance coaching and strategic planning. It challenges the lazy narrative that African success is just natural talent. No, it is discipline. It is systems. It is the refusal to be overlooked by the global establishment. Like this video help more Africans see this story. When we look at the stakeholders involved from the South African Sports Confederation to the international governing bodies, we see a shift in power. The fact that his success is being highlighted by global outlets like Al Jazeera shows that the eyes of the world are shifting toward Africa as a powerhouse of talent. For years, Western media ignored our athletes unless they were surprising them. Now, the narrative is changing to one of African dominance. But let's talk about why this matters for the rest of the continent. This is where we move into the Pan-African implications. When a South African succeeds on this scale, it creates a ripple effect. It provides a roadmap for nations like Nigeria, Kenya, and Egypt to invest in their own elite sports programs. We are moving toward an Africa Rising narrative where our athletes are not just participants, they are the masters of their craft. When we see Le Clos break records, it validates the investments made by African governments and private sectors in youth development. It proves that when we invest in our people, the results are undeniable. This is about soft power. It's about showing the West that Africa possesses the focus, the technique, and the will to lead in any field, be it technology, sports, or governance. What does this mean for Africa's future? It means we are building a brand of excellence that cannot be ignored. Every medal won by an African athlete is a brick in the wall of our collective sovereignty. We are building a generation of youth who don't look at Western icons as the ceiling, but rather as benchmarks they have already surpassed. Subscribe for honest, Pan-African analysis you won't find on CNN or BBC. We are no longer a continent waiting for permission to succeed. We are taking our seat at the head of the table. Le Clos' 19th medal is just the beginning of a long procession of African triumphs that will define the next decade of global sports. Check out this next video where we analyze how African tech giants are disrupting the Silicon Valley monopoly. The revolution is happening across every sector. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you believe that specialized sports investment is the key to unlocking more Pan-African icons? Let's discuss below. Comment your thoughts and let's keep building this movement of pride.